The story begins with Kamishiro making the same old commute to do the same old job every day of his dull and miserable life. He had always been told that a routine-filled life would bring him happiness, yet deep inside, a small part of him longed for something different. One day, Kamishiro notices something strange on his TV, and before he can process it, he is suddenly teleported out of his world. A mysterious man appears before him and explains that he is the one who manages the solar system, which makes Kamishiro wonder if he is some kind of alien. The man clarifies that he is closer to a god and shows Kamishiro a failing planet called Matthias. No matter what they try, every civilization on Matthias eventually collapses, and this cycle of failure has gone on for far too long. So the god decides to take drastic action. He will give the planet a single drop of water, because even a single drop can create waves large enough to transform the world. To Kamashiro's surprise, he has been chosen to be that drop of water. To Kamishiro, this is an enormous responsibility, but the god reveals that Kamishiro is actually no longer alive. If he refuses, he will simply vanish along with his soul. To make the deal more appealing, the god begins granting him special powers. He gives him magic, maxed out mana, and then asks what else Kamishiro desires. Hearing this, Kamishiro shifts from skeptical to excited and boldly declares that he wants cute partners to accompany him on his journey. Much to his delight, the god promises he will meet them in time. The god continues adding powerful abilities. Strengthened search magic, the ability to earn money by selling materials, a magical handbag capable of holding everything he gathers, and the ability to understand every language in the world. He also grants him multiple resistances to improve his defense. Just then, Kamashiro's body begins to fade, signaling that it is time for him to leave. The god briefly wonders if he may have granted too many abilities, but it's too late to change anything now. Suddenly, he expresses concern over who Kamashiro's partner will be, questioning if it will truly be okay. This instantly makes Kamishiro panic, but before he can ask more, the god reassures him that he will be fine. Moments later, Kamishiro wakes up in a new world, in a new body. Unsure what he is supposed to do, he decides to look for signs of civilization and eventually reaches a village. Realizing he has no money to buy food, he remembers the god upgraded his search ability to help him gather materials to sell. When Kamishiro activates his search magic, nothing happens at first, disappointing him, until he realizes he was pronouncing the spell incorrectly. Once he says it properly, little symbols appear everywhere, revealing the locations of valuable materials. Using the command scan, he receives even more detailed information. Kamishiro is thrilled to have such incredibly useful skills, and his excitement grows when the very first material he picks up turns out to be ranked B. He continues gathering materials from the marked areas, though most are low rank. Still motivated, he eventually finds a strange and pretty stone, only to discover it is actually a turd, somehow ranked C. Disgusted yet amused, he realizes all materials in this world are categorized by symbols and easily located with his ability. With his bag full of items, Kamishiro rushes back to the village to see how much money he can earn. At the gate, a guard named Marlowe assumes Kamishiro must be a knight because of his tall and imposing build, but Kamishiro corrects him, explaining he is merely a seller of materials. Marlowe informs him that such people are called gathering specialists, which are rare. Though the village lacks a materials store, it does have a general shop. When Kamishiro shows the shopkeeper the turd, the man becomes ecstatic. He identifies it as the feces of a hammer anteater and is amazed by its shape and color. He praises Kamishiro for finding such a beautiful specimen and offers 5 gold coins for it. Kamishiro, having no concept of the currency, learns that a night at an inn costs 500 raves and that 1 gold coin is worth 1,000 raves. Realizing the shopkeeper wants to pay nearly $400 for a piece of turd, Kamishiro is stunned and even more horrified when the man rubs the turd on his own face in admiration. Kamishiro then shows him the rest of his haul, and the shopkeeper is astounded he collected everything alone. He wonders why such high-quality materials were brought to a shop in the middle of nowhere, but Kamishiro simply explains that he enjoys traveling while gathering. Impressed, the shopkeeper asks him for a favor. There is mythol ore on a nearby mountain, and he wants Kamishiro to retrieve it. Kamishiro gladly accepts the request. The shopkeeper buys all his materials for 360,000 raves. When Kamishiro converts that amount, he nearly faints. It is almost $25,000. Before he leaves, the shopkeeper warns him about monsters in the mountains, but has confidence Kamishiro can handle them. Before heading out, Kamishiro spends the night at an inn. A girl brings him a bowl of water that costs 30 raves and explains it is for washing himself. Shocked that there are no baths, Kamishiro learns that only sorcerers can clean people using magic. none of whom live in the village. The mention of magic gives him an idea. After paying the girl, he tries a few spells, and when he says, "clean," the magic activates, leaving him cleaner than ever. This makes him realize he can use all sorts of magic as long as he finds the correct words. While traveling to the mountain, he continues adjusting to the world and eventually encounters a spade symbol marking a skeleton. His search ability reveals the deceased person's name and rank. Next to the skeleton, Kamishiro finds a family amulet, and the scan reveals it was made by the man's mother. Inside is a letter from his sister urging him not to push himself too hard. Feeling responsible, Kamishiro buries the skeleton before moving on. Later, he sets up camp, creates a magical barrier, and prepares stew with his herbs, adding seasoning for flavor. When he tastes it, he is amazed at how delicious it is and happily declares that getting isekai'd was the best thing that ever happened to him. Eventually, he reaches the forest of ancient dragons, a dangerous region full of monsters. Using light magic, he illuminates the symbols around him, but finds no ores or animals nearby, briefly wondering if he smells bad. Deciding it's fine since it means fewer monsters, he continues. As he nears the end of the forest, the ground suddenly disappears beneath him, and he plummets off a cliff. As he falls, he tries every magic word he can think of: float, levitate, rise, but none work. Finally, when he says fly, the spell activates, saving his life. He lands safely and sees ore symbols everywhere, eagerly gathering them. Yet he still finds no mythal ore until spotting a faint symbol deep within a mountainside. Saying blaze, he unleashes a fireball that breaks through the rock and exposes the ore. Though there isn't much. As he collects it, the cave begins shaking, but instead of fleeing, he ventures deeper and discovers a crystal-clear pool of water. Scanning it reveals it is ranked SS, the most valuable thing he has ever found, and contains the magical element of an ancient dragon, meaning the dragon must live nearby. Kamishiro doesn't worry and tries testing the water, but just as he reaches out, a massive dragon rises from the pool. Angry that Kamishiro ignored him, the ancient dragon unleashes his terrifying presence. Shockingly, Kamishiro withstands the overwhelming pressure, surprising the dragon. Kamishiro apologizes for intruding, impressing the dragon with his courage. The dragon introduces himself as Valdius, the ancient dragon, and notes that Kamishiro possesses a staggering amount of mana, enough to rival his own. Even though Kamishiro claims to be human, Valdius explains that he has a request. His child refuses to hatch, and he believes Kamashiro's purity and strength may awaken it. To motivate him, Valdius offers a large quantity of mythal ore as a reward. Valdius shows him the egg and instructs him to pour mana into it, as he did when creating light magic. Kamishiro uses the word heat to warm the egg, but something goes horribly wrong. His power surges uncontrollably, and he is suddenly pulled into the egg. Panicking, he fears he will die right after arriving in this world. Instead, he awakens in a strange realm, where a girl appears and scolds him for being reckless. At first, Kamishiro thinks she may be the god from earlier, but quickly realizes she is someone else entirely. She reveals that she has been meddling with this planet for tens of thousands of years, and disapproves that Kamishiro caused such a massive ripple in just one day. Before he can ask anything, she sends him away. Back in the cave, Kamishiro is relieved to see the egg has hatched successfully. Valdius asks him to name the baby dragon. Although Kamishiro hesitates, Valdius explains that the dragon already has a true name and only needs a common name. Kamishiro names him Black. Valdius instructs his newborn child to explore the world freely and tells Kamishiro that Black will accompany him. Kamishiro protests, pointing out that Black was just born, but Valdius isn't worried. He believes Kamishiro is even stronger than him and is the perfect guardian. As a reward, Valdius fires a beam at Kamashiro's bag, filling it with mythal ore before saying farewell. Overjoyed, Kamishiro formally invites Black to join him on his journey as a gatherer, and the little dragon happily agrees. Kamishiro couldn't be happier.